You're so annoying, cat. Gosh, you're annoying though. I need to practice my. I was gonna practice my opening statement for. I have a debate tomorrow at 6:40 Central Standard. Controversial Compass TikTok Live, or I think it's Mr. Coco TikTok Live. I'm debating Just Jim. Cat, you're the worst. So I wrote. An opening and closing statement, and it has to be like 5 minutes. So I'm gonna test it to see if I can get out of here, cat. Go down. Ow! Ow! Oh my gosh. Good lord. Stupid cat. Well, that's funny because atheism is a dead ringer for poop. Like, atheism is what I meant. I mean, like, atheism is philosophical poop, or like, atheism is logical poop, or like, atheism is mental poop. Atheism is like intellectual poop. What's the definition of atheism? Who the fuck knows? They keep changing it because atheists don't have any like evidence or like reasons for atheism to be true. What they do is they want to play like definition games. So they try to just change the definition of atheism in a desperate attempt to shift the burden of proof onto the theist. It's quite pathetic and cowardly. Penguin, did you get a notification? I don't really like to talk about definitions of words because, for one, I think it's boring. And you did? Okay. I think it's boring to talk about definitions. And for two, what's the other reason I don't want to do that? Oh, yeah, because people, a big tactic of atheist debaters is to try to, like, hyper focus on a definition or pigeonhole you into a definition and then show some like contradiction with the definition, and it's really dumb. I think it's really dumb. So I try to just like, I don't even want to talk about definitions on my my live. That's not like a absolute thing though, but I just try not my best not to. Welcome, neighbor.
You know, is this what? So I just have a question. Do you do this all day long? Because sometimes I like go on break at work, and you're still doing it. So like, do you ever do anything else, or is it just this TikTok live with these specific 5 prompts?
Yeah, this is all I do is like I just TikTok live all day. Oh, I was thinking about getting some new prompts. Like I got this one.
That's just a quote.
Yeah, it's a prompt
How is that a prompt?
because then we can like discuss the purpose of a loving relationship. Maybe someone disagrees, or
Who's
maybe
gonna disagree with that?
I gotta fix that one. What,
Who is gonna disagree with that?
dude? Atheists are crazy. I had an atheist tell me 1 + 1
This
doesn't
picture
equal
has
4.
nothing to do with with atheism. It's like the thing you have, the
Yeah,
quote you
but
have up has nothing to do with religion.
yeah, but atheists will be attracted to the live. Good.
What?
That's a prompt. Oh, honest atheists would tell veterans that their sacrifice meant nothing because there's no purpose or meaning to life.
What? I don't think that's what atheism even means.
That was for Veterans Day.
Atheists don't think that life has no meaning. That's just
People
like
would say, I'm an
completely
atheist,
incorrect.
but then they act like the veteran's sacrifice meant something. Or there's like this one. It's like,
Why did we evolve cancer?
yeah, evolution's mean. If evolution is so great, why did we evolve cancer?
Who's saying it's great or bad? It's just the truth.
Evolution's
Like,
supposed to
nobody's like, yay, evolution or boo, evolution. It's just a fact.
evolution is supposed to help us survive. Cancer
And
doesn't.
it does. It does
Cancer
different
doesn't-
things.
Cancer doesn't help us survive. So why would evolution give us cancer? It's the problem of evolutionary problem of cancer.
I mean, it's not a good thing. Like, what do you want to say though? Like,
Well, it's a contradiction because evolution selects traits that help a species survive, but cancer doesn't help anyone survive. And evolution selected for cancer, so it's the evolutionary problem of cancer.
what?
Exactly, evolution's stupid.
No, I think you're stupid.
Okay.
Look, I'm not a scientist, but this commenter just said evolution doesn't give us cancer, a regular mutation does, and that sounds a little more correct. So I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah. Anyways, is there anything else you want to say?
I mean, like just your prompts are dumb, man. Like,
Cancer is an error in the forming of the genetic code due to an external force or an internal problem when
A heretic.
proteins and certain proteins and triglycerides and other types of amino acids are not present in the system to form the DNA properly.
see, this
That's where
is what
cancer
he's talking
comes from.
about.
Yeah, no one knows what that means. So
I mean, you could have just opened your ears and listened. I know it was hard for you, but
yeah, but he was saying like the dilithium crystal when it
was it just too
the
intelligent
flux-
for you to understand where the words?
Yeah,
today?
you gotta talk like a human.
It's
being.
basic high school biology. If you didn't
I
pay
completely
attention,
understood
just
what
say
he
so.
said, and I'm fucking
Right.
dumb. So if you can't understand what he said, you're lost. Because if I can
Christianity
understand-
has no basis to be proven because it is just a book.
Well, how would you prove anything without the book? Because
You can't. You can't prove anything if it is not testable by science.
but
So
how?
by saying that there is no God is also false.
But there's a problem.
Because there's no way to prove that
But-
it exists.
Yes, there is.
No, there is not.
There is. Like science would be impossible if atheism was true. So, like the fact that we can do science.
Science will happen no matter what religion comes into power at that moment,
You're grossly
given
misinformed.
any factor.
You're
no,
grossly
he sounds
misin-
smart. He just
Hold
sounds
on.
intelligent, and you sound like you can't
I'm an
understand.
ex-Christian.
May I say something? May I just give me a minute? You're grossly misinformed. I'd like to educate you on this matter, okay? So, please.
You
I
didn't
don't
even
need-
understand what he said.
okay.
What do you
You're
mean
acting
you're
like
going to
a child.
educate us?
need
You
to
don't
grow
even
up.
understand.
You need to grow up. So, anyways, A.E. Taylor, right? I'm going to quote him. The fundamental thought of modern science is that there's a universal reign of law throughout nature. Nature is rational in the sense that it has everywhere a coherent pattern which we can progressively detect by the steady application of our own intelligence to the scrutiny of natural processes. Science has been built up along on the basis of this principle of the uniformity of nature, and the principle is one which science itself has no means of demonstrating. No one could possibly prove its truth to an opponent who seriously disputed it. For all attempts to produce evidence for the uniformity of nature themselves presuppose the very principle they are intended to prove. So what I'm arguing is that The existence of God, of Christian theism, and the conception of his counsel as controlling all things in the universe is the only explanation which can account for the uniformity of nature which scientists need.
No, you literally just said that you cannot prove the existence of anything without certain factors being presented. That is
I just
literally
said
what you just said. And
science
with
needs
no
the
God being presented, you cannot prove he exists. He would have
okay.
to somehow drop a hair from heaven off of his big white
Seems like
beard,
you ignored
and
what I
then we
said.
DNA test it.
Okay, so do you agree that science needs the principle of the uniformity of nature to be true?
Sure.
Okay. And science can't, there's no empirical or rational proof for the principle of the uniformity of nature?
I'm not exactly understanding what you mean, the uniformity of nature.
That
That
the future,
all living things come from one source of DNA? That we're all made of amino acids and triglycerides and proteins?
that the
Is
future
that what
was
you're
that?
talking about?
No, I'm talking about something basic and fundamental to all scientific inquiry, that the future resembles the past. When I touch a hot stove, I burn my hand and I go, well, in the future, when I touch a hot stove, I'll burn my hand. That is all based on the principle of the uniformity of nature. That test can be repeatable.
That is common knowledge. That is learned and taught behavior. That's not
So,
uniformity of nature.
oh, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So I guess maybe should we just,
You,
yeah.
you're not getting it.
You're not getting it, sir. When you do science, you
God does not exist.
okay. Then how do you?
Christianity is a
Then how did?
Christianity is a
Then how
tale.
is science possible without God? How does science? How do you explain the uniformity?
Because
of nature?
we're smart
No, I want an
Homo
explanation. Listen
sapien
to me.
apes.
You're not addressing with what I'm presenting to you because you are a coward. So how do you explain and account for the uniformity of nature, which you need to do your science without
No, you
Jesus?
don't.
Okay, liar.
You don't have to
I
have a
just
uniformity
quoted
of
A.E.
anything to do
Taylor.
science. We
You're
do
lying.
experiments on things we don't even know. We get information
lying.
back from the James Webb's telescope. We get information
lying.
back from the James Webb's telescope. We don't know what it is.
That
We
is
have
not-
never
you're
seen
not
anything
addressing-
like this stuff.
All science relies on the principle of the uniformity of nature. That's not controversial. You want to lie about that? I'll just clip you lying, and then I'll. So what time are we?
So what
in
you're
the
the uni
So you
the
want me to highlight you
uniformity?
being a liar?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Whatever.
Okay, 13 minutes in. All right, I'll
Yeah,
note that
P
down.
Mars.
Yeah, I'm writing it down. I'm writing that down. 13 minutes in, my guest lies. Highlight it. Make a clip.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. So that's what we're gonna do. So science doesn't need the uniformity of nature, the principle of the uniformity of
And
nature.
you are exactly proving where my second point was going to come
No,
from.
I just I want to clip your
That
lie. Can you clip me?
only the
Bro, I'm
person
trying to
who
clip
is in
farm you.
charge of the certain situation is the one that's
I'm
going
trying
to
to
be able
clip
to pass
farm
down
you.
the information.
Bro, so can I
You
get that
have
science?
someone who is in charge of
Science
a lower amount
doesn't-
of people, and
Can
the
you
lower amount of
cooperate?
people are not as smart as the person that
What
is
is
in
wrong with these
charge.
people? What is wrong with these
They're
people?
going to say, "Hey, there's a boogeyman in that closet. Do what I say, or otherwise
they
he's going to
love their
smite you."
psychological reports. So can I want to clip farm this, right? So can I get that? Science doesn't need the uniformity of nature. Can you say that?
I don't know why you need it.
Right. Does science require the principle of the uniformity of nature to do a
I'm
scientific
not giving you the
experiment?
justification of being
I want to
wrong.
clip you. I want to clip you lying. Come on, man. Does science require the principle of the uniformity of nature? Go ahead and lie.
Nature
Go ahead.
exists
I'll clip it.
without God.
Does science rely on the principle of the uniformity of nature, liar?
You don't know what you're talking
Does
about.
science rely on the principle of the uniformity of nature, liar? I'm trying to clip farm you. Don't you get that? You're the lol cow here.
Yeah, okay.
We're laughing at you.
You want to know something else? I'm pro-abortion.
Why aren't you answering the question? Oh yeah, of course you are. Because your
There's
life
too
has
many
no meaning.
people like you that are furthering the degradation of society.
What if we abort the person that's going to cure cancer?
We're not. Not on the path
We're
that
not.
we're going.
How do you know
There's
that?
too many fucking stupid people like you
Uh-huh.
on the planet that have the ability to make a child. If you need a license to drive a car, if you need a license to buy a gun, if you need permission until you're, 25 to vote, you should not be able to make a child without permission.
Antinatalist, nice. You know, I like you just the way you are. Never change. Welcome, neighbor.
Hi, neighborino.
What would you like to say?
I just find this ironically funny. I mean, the guy just won't answer a serious inquiry, and he likes to jump around all over the place.
Yeah, no, and he comes on here being like, "Oh, the symbiotic bicariote to the nucleus of the eukaryote." Like, dude, these people are like fake intellectuals. It's really, I find that highly obnoxious when people pretend to be something they're not, and act, like condescend. And then really, like, when you research what they're saying, they're totally full of shit because they don't actually read and they just play video games all day and they live in their mom's basement. They don't do anything with their life, but they go on the internet and act like they fucking know everything.
Yeah, man, something like that. I mean, wow. Usually the argument goes, doesn't the Bible promote? Now I'm a Christian, but usually the arguments I get is the Bible promotes slavery and the unaliving of children, and it's like, oh well, you have an issue with that, and then come to find out they're anti-natalist and they're pro unaliving of children. Talk about thoughts and views inconsistent with value.
When God unalives a baby, that's bad, but when a single mother unalives a baby, that's a virtue. You don't get it. Anyways, yeah.
That's
But thanks, man. I kind of got some people requesting up, so I'm trying to get some opposition up here. God bless, bro. Oh no, the cat is back again. You're not gonna be here much longer. Welcome, neighbor.
Hello,
Thanks, Jay.
yeah. So I was wondering, right?
Cat's
So
going
earlier
back
we were
home.
talking about
What's that? We're talking about science. Oh, that guy was like pretending to be a fake science teacher. He wants to be internet science teacher or something.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, but
He like
so
memorized some Wikipedia paragraph.
so the law of uniformity of nature, right? I was
It's a
just wondering
principle.
because, well, yeah, principle. Well, law, principle. Would you say those are different?
I mean, I couldn't tell you the difference. I think there's a slight difference, but I think it's kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
I
I'm
think
not
principle
sure.
is more foundational. I'll ask the AI.
Yeah, I was just wondering because from what I infer from what the consensus is, it's that it's an observation and that it's not necessarily absolute. It's just we haven't been proven that it changes. So if it were to change one day, that like we'll say some sort of like physical attribute is like, oh, suddenly this is what's happening. We just haven't seen that yet, right? Well,
I mean,
I think the
You could
closest
claim that, but you don't live your life like that. Like you treat them as if they are absolute. So
Well, I think because
I think
otherwise,
you're just being like schizophrenic if you do something like that with your
well,
claim.
yeah, because the thing is that otherwise it would be really difficult to do science. But the thing is, like, if you want to do science, you kind of have to assume that, like, the things are unchanging until they change. So until a change would occur, then you would note it and you'd let
Right.
people know, hey. And I was gonna get to this. So, like, in quantum physics, right? There
God.
is. So I'm not like a quantum physics expert, but what I know is that a lot of the laws of nature that we understood at a macro level, right? So that means like human beings, basic objects that we know, they follow certain rules, right? Now, when we got to the quantum physics level of understanding, we realized that none of those things obey the same rules as like macro objects.
Before we
rules.
got to quantum physics, we already knew there's every single scientific theory, there's data that contradicts the theory. Every single one. And then they call them anomalies, or they just kind of ignore them, the data, the contradictions. So even in quantum mechanics, it's the same thing. So I don't know. It's not like we discovered that because of quantum physics or something.
Well, no, I'm just saying it would be an
We already knew
instance
that.
of
Before quantum physics, every scientific theory, there's data that contradicts it, every single one, and the scientists just call it an anomaly and they kind of gloss over it.
I
this was
don't
true
know
with-
what you mean, because like, okay, for
I don't know,
example,
what are you, so
photons,
what,
right?
can you just make your point quickly? Like, I don't need a lesson, I don't need a lecture on quantum mechanics, like I have no interest in that shit. So anyways, just make a point.
Well, my point is that it's kind of a flawed idea to believe that, like, the uniformity of nature is absolutely unchanging.
Okay, this is
because
just, you have no idea what you're talking about, okay?
I know what you can't know the
Dude, all of scientific inquiry is based on the principle of the uniformity of nature. So if that principle is unwarranted, that means all scientific claims are unwarranted. Okay, this is just logic. Your opinion is irrelevant.
It's not unwanted. Like, we know
This
that
is, I'm being logical. Do you want to be logical or not?
I'm currently being logical.
Oh,
We've
really?
noticed-
So wouldn't it logically follow that if the principle of uniformity of nature is unwarranted, then all scientific claims are unwarranted? Doesn't that logically follow?
I didn't say it was unwarranted. What I'm saying is it's not.
That's what
necessarily-
I'm saying. The principle of the uniformity of nature is unwarranted on atheism.
No, it's not.
Okay, so then what's the justification?
It's that it's not absolute.
I want the empirical proof. I want the rational proof.
Okay, so the empirical proof would be impossible because it would require us to see the future, which is why we
Right,
claim it's not
exactly.
absolute,
So you know it's
because we
impossible to
can't.
justify. So you know that all scientific claims are based on an unjustified assumption. That means that undermines all of science. That means atheism undermines science, whereas Christianity supports and undergirds science. So that's the difference. You know this is true. I'm not lying. Like
I don't
you.
understand, like, if we get to the same point using the same logic, why does it matter?
And we're not getting to the same point. So I
really
believe
are.
science. No. Oh, so when you do science, is the uniformity imposed by a causal agent that
No,
created the universe?
it just
So how
is.
the fuck is that the same?
Because it's an observation. We
It's
notice
not
that
the
that's how
same.
things are.
When I observe something, that observation is imposed by a causal agent that creates and sustains the universe. When you observe something, you're denying the causal agent that imposes the order. Where the hell are you getting the order from? It's just made up by your mind, right?
You're just presupposing that there is.
I'm not
an uncaused
dude, it's
causer.
revealed. God, Jesus is a person. Is Jesus a real human being?
I think yes.
Yeah, so what the fuck, dude? I'm saying that person, that human being, imposes the order on the universe. I'm
I'm
not
telling you he
making
doesn't,
shit
because
up.
he's
I'm not
not
making
God.
shit up. I'm appealing to a fucking human. What are you appealing to when you talk about the order?
I'm appealing to observations.
That doesn't cut the mustard, though. That's internally inconsistent. You're a joke.
You can say that if you want. That doesn't change that that's how we do things.
No, but when you say I don't know, when I ask you like what's the evidence for this, and you say I don't know, that you're conceding that God is
what
necessary
point?
for science.
At
That's
what
a
point am I
concession.
saying I don't know?
What's the proof? What's the empirical or rational proof for the uniformity of nature? You know there's none, right?
You observe the universe and you notice that for now it hasn't changed.
Do you observe the future? You admitted we don't observe the future. It's impossible. You already admitted we don't have proof of that.
So
You
what we
already
can
admitted
observe
this.
is the present
So that
and the
do you not
past.
understand that that's a concession that God is necessary for science? That's a concession. That's what you just lost the debate. Do you not get this?
I'm telling you that your argument
What is wrong with these people?
Hey, what's
Welcome.
good, Penis Mars? Penis Mars, happy Pride Month, by the way. Since you jacking off to
Okay.
dudes, there's nothing wrong with being.
Happy humble month. Okay, so do you understand yet that
I mean, I am going to say Happy Pride Month just because I say that to everybody, though.
Oh, happy humble month. Do you
Oh, humility?
understand?
No. Fuck humility always.
Do you understand?
Yeah, but no, the uniformity of
Stop,
nature is
stop,
an
before
interesting
we
thing.
stop, before we talk. Do you understand that to even come and debate me, there has to be objective morality? That you're
No.
Bye.
You're running away again.
No, I'm not running away. You need to read. You're not ready to debate. So when we debate, debates presuppose objective morality and objective knowledge. You can't debate without objective morality. It's a contradiction. So I'm not going to let you contradict yourself. No, we're done. I'm not letting you back up. It's over. I'm sick of you people contradicting yourselves all the time. It's just, you people, you have to be logical. If you want to debate, you have to be logically consistent, okay? You can't be arbitrary. You can't contradict yourself, okay? I'm not going to debate with people who are just willfully committed to being arbitrary and inconsistent in all their thoughts and all their actions. I don't see the point of debating you, okay? It's like, I don't talk to flat earthers. Tony, I'm trying to, I kind of want to do like a one-man thing.
Bro,
What's up, man?
the demonic activity has been heavy lately, man. Holy crap, man. I've been having some cuckoos, either every now and then when I was hanging out with Darth in his live a couple of days ago, and then I was hanging out with in Q-Top's live yesterday, and I've been noticing the demons that have been coming out of people have just been nuts lately.
Well, yeah, I was on my friend No Degrees live, and one of his guests accused me of being like a PDF file for like no reason.
Yeah, they do that, man. It's like crazy, man. Like they'll just slang random anything out of nowhere, baselessly.
Yeah, just totally out of the blue.
Yeah, just out of the blue. And it's like they just want to say it just to see what sticks. And it's nuts. It's like crazy, like the disingenuous. Like it.
Is that me, or are you breaking up a little bit?
Do you guys? Oh, sorry.
I think I can hear you now. Oh, it looks like you got one bar. So go ahead.
Trans woman have testes 1 2 3. Trans woman have testes 1 2 3. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. Yeah, like it's like crazy because it's like that right there just shows you that they don't want to live honest. They don't have a honest. It shows you that that's what they're going to descend into, right? Because they don't live an honest life. Their worldview is not based on honesty. Their worldview is not based on truth, and their worldview causing them to reject truth. Well, then of course they're just going to be okay with hurling lies at somebody and falsely accusing their fellow men, like because their whole worldview is based off lies and fiction. It's just
anytime you like pin them down and corner them, they immediately switch the subject, like chameleon.
Yeah, they do.
So you can never they can never focus. They can never like just deal with what I'm saying. See, the tag argument's pretty powerful. I feel bad for them because all we're really doing is repeating what God said. And so essentially we're kind of like the middleman, and they're really arguing with God, not so much us. Because we're just like saying, look, God's revealed himself. This is his word. This is what God says. Who are you to challenge what God says? And how can you as a man argue with God? It's like you're done. So that's it.
Right.
So they don't like that. So, but
I guess.
What is it? Tough titties? Because like that's just the way it is.
Right, tough.
Well, maybe
tough
I shouldn't
biddles.
say it like that.
Yeah. Looks like somebody with a flag says that they don't have testes. Oh, you got them removed, huh? Okay. Well, I mean, that doesn't sound like a small thing. Now you got a coin purse in the middle of your legs. So, good luck keeping it clean and not infected. So I guess, and by the way, I don't know how long ago you did it, but the hormones that you're taking are also going to cause blistering and stuff like that. So when you get blood coming out of your coin purse pocket,
You
it's
know,
not because you have a uterus,
I
okay?
just think there's like a spectrum, right? It's like now there's no more tomboys. It's like you have to be trans. You can't just be a tomboy, right? Or you can't just be
Right.
like an effeminate dude. Like that. No, what was it? Metrosexual. Remember that back in the
Yeah, that
day?
was a thing.
Like,
Yeah,
why
that was a
can't you just
thing.
be a metrosexual? Why do you have to be like the opposite sex? You know what I mean? Like, I think this is kind of like a mass hysteria thing, like the satanic panic in the '80s is what's going on. You know,
Yeah, it's a
like
social contagion.
there's like
Yeah.
that thing that's like where like moms will want their children to have diseases because it like the attention or the victim thing. It's like I don't know.
So
So
excursionalist says, I know all about. Wait, hey, I thought the TRANNIES word was. I thought that was offensive for them. Why are you using an offensive word that they find offensive? That would be my first point.
well,
Second
the
thing,
words change. What's offensive and not is changing like every day. You can't. It's hard to keep
I,
up.
right? Well, and yes, here's the thing. I debate them all the time. If you know some of the biggest trans debaters on here, they won't let me up
Wait,
on their panels
you
anymore
can't say that
because
word. Yeah, I'm not
oh,
gonna mute him.
The T people.
No, I'm
Yeah.
talking to the guy in the chat. Sorry, he
Okay.
said he was saying the car, the
Mhm.
car part. I don't know how
Oh,
to, you know what I'm saying? The car part
right.
version.
Oh,
Anyways,
right. Yeah, but some of the biggest T debaters won't even let me up on their panel anymore now because they know I will just dunk on them. So yes, I do know how to shut them down. If you guys don't know, you guys don't ever see me. I'm always in Nate's live. If you don't know who Nate is, he's probably like one of the best, debunkers of T ideology on the app. So yeah, you'll see me hanging out with him sometimes, and
I don't
if you
really
guys,
get into that too much. The one thing I say about it is like the way like revolutions or like movements towards liberating people work is like whenever you give one group liberty, you take away liberty from another group. So like we want to give trans people's rights. Fine. I want everyone to have equal like rights according to like the state or whatever. That's what I want. But when you let trans women into sports, now you're sort of oppressing
right,
biological women. So it's like a give and take, you see, with everything. When we give freedom to one group, we have to take away freedom from another group. So people
right,
don't are blind to that. But do you mind if I
and that's
drop you
why.
down? Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, sure. So, well, real quick, somebody said Q-Top. Yeah, I hang out in Q-Top's live. He runs presuppositional transcendentalism as well. So he's,
And flat earthism and who knows what the hell, that guy's crazy.
I get that, but here's the way I look at it. People said the same stuff about Darth, and I really like Darth. I
Yeah.
think I think we're all trying to find the truth, and I think that's why we need the grace of Christ, is because we're all in the wilderness to some extent.
Okay,
I
but
think
I don't know.
you
I
know
kind of draw a line. So I see what you're saying, but like I don't know, flat Earth or like Candace Owens and stuff like that. Candace Owens will say that the Jewish people hide dinosaur bones to trick Christians into not believing in God. And when people say stuff like that, it's like, okay, I can't, I can't have anything to do with that. That's just too
right,
kooky. But anyways.
right. Okay, well, yeah,
But
to
I
each
mean,
their
they
own.
have their right. I don't want to say like they censor them, but I just don't interact with them or think
Right,
about them.
right. Yeah, I just care about the truth, man. That's
Well, I do too.
mainly it. And I just, that's how I
We
was.
should
That's how I
question
came.
everything, but
Right, and that's how I came back to God from atheism. Is I reasoned to myself is that if there is a God, well, then pursuing the truth or just looking for the truth will inevitably lead me to God because God would be the truth, and that's how I came back from the brinks of my own kind of self-defeating mindset, you know. But all right, man, I'll drop and let you get to it. But thanks
okay,
for having
man.
me up, bro.
Yeah,
Peace
man. Have
out.
a good one. God bless.
God bless.
Yo, how you doing?
Welcome, neighbor. What would you like to say?
I just think that you're a little bit unfair in the way you talk about some of these things. Like the guy you were saying was talking about a bunch of nonsense. I mean, cancer really is caused by mutations of
Oh,
cells.
I'm
I don't
not
think.
saying what he's saying was wrong. I'm just saying he was
Okay.
like using $5 words that no one. I didn't know what the hell he was saying. So I don't see the point of
And
like talking
then,
like that. It's like seems like you're just trying to like.
okay, well then I could say that for like uniformity of nature too. And like the ways that you talk about some things.
Well,
Like you could just say that the laws of
right, because
nature
so
are unchanging and consistent.
I
That's all you need to say.
normally, yeah, I normally do that, but because that guy was being like a jerk, that's why I was like, well,
Okay.
I can use fancy words too and shit like that, right? So normally,
Uh,
yeah, I just say like patterns or order rather than because I try to talk in a way that like a layperson can relate to. That's and I try. So
yeah, all
I
right. I can see that.
because like when you watch Neil deGrasse Tyson, that's what he does. Or like I don't. Whenever I talk, I sometimes I email PhD philosophers, and when they respond, they don't talk like in esoteric language, so I can't fucking understand what they're saying. So these people are
Okay.
only doing this to be fake and like make the audience think they're like intellectual when they probably just memorized some Wikipedia article and they fucking don't know anything.
Uh, well, I will say also, I do agree with him saying like, oh, things needing to be evidenced by some form of science, or at least some. I don't know. I've discussed things with you already, saying that we need kind of evidence. And
Oh
I will
yeah,
say that science doesn't really need the uniformity of nature. And that's not because it goes against it or to say that it invalidates it, because that's not what anyone means when they're saying that.
doesn't need
But
it.
as he was saying, yeah, yeah, as he was saying, there's things that hold on, let me finish. There's things that we study that we have no idea about. Like, so we're not basing off of that. That's not to say that it's not true and what we're looking into, is breaking that. It's not. It's just that those things we're not starting from that point of what the laws of nature are. We're not starting from things already known. We're just exploring, really. We're
Yeah,
searching blindly sometimes, and that's
that's
what I think he was trying to say.
well, that's only like one of the problems. Science needs a single. Well, I don't know how to say this. Science needs something to connect the dots in the universe to
I mean,
interconnect.
not really, because like
You're lying.
some of the, I'm
Stop.
not lying.
Stop. Okay,
You
well,
just
I
disagree with me.
stop. It's not about disagreement. It's about logic. Okay?
Okay, so how does
Logically,
it need everything to connect?
because science assumes that like our mind is in contact with the objects of knowledge in the natural world. So that requires like some entity to connect our mind to the objects in the world. So you couldn't
Okay,
do
can you hold
science if
on?
there's
Can you
no
slow
there's no
down?
okay.
Can you explain what you mean to me by that? That our brain or our knowledge is in contact?
Here, I can try to draw it. Okay, so you have like the world here, or whatever. This is the world, let's say,
Yeah.
and this is the scientist. So we need to study the world, we have to put our mind in contact with the world. And so
Okay.
only if we have God, um, there's God. So God creates the world and God creates our mind. So he can design them and intend them to fit together. So there's connection. The objects of knowledge in the world,
Hmm.
are connected to our mind through God. This is necessary because science has to study this thing. We can't study this thing without this connection. So when you deny
Why?
God, because if your mind isn't in contact with the objects of knowledge in the natural world, you can't study the natural world. It's like a tautology, dude.
I mean, to be in contact like this, just like I
How do
still
you?
don't really see what you're saying. Like, I don't know, maybe you could
What
call
the
me
fuck?
stupid,
Can
but like,
okay? So can I study something that my mind is not in contact with?
I mean, if you
Yes.
mean in
I can
contact
just
with,
study something. My mind has no contact with the object of knowledge, but I can study it. That makes sense to you.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying
Well,
like that
that's
sounds
what I'm
like
saying. We have to connect the mind to the object of knowledge. You need a connecting force. What is God is Jesus provides the attributes
Why is he the connecting force?
because if I design two puzzle pieces, I can intend them to fit together. So if God
What if
designs
they're
the
just naturally like that
what
though?
if
Like, how
what if you
does
were just
he have
what
to?
if you were just not uncooperative? What if you just cooperated with what I'm saying? Do you think you
Um,
can take so we can have a pile of a million random jigsaw puzzle pieces? I can select
okay.
two at random. You think they're going to fit together without being intended to fit together? Things just
No, but
randomly
they
fit
could,
together?
and sometimes things are
Exactly.
just like that.
They could.
Yes, I'm
Okay,
not
I'm
saying
not.
it's
You're
how
being
things will
okay.
be.
Do you want
I'm
to do?
just saying
Look, honestly,
sometimes.
I like you just the way you are. I've enjoyed this conversation,
Okay,
but I'm
well,
gonna
thank you for
put you.
being respectful
Can
at
you
least. That's
please
fine.
respectfully never request up here again? Because
Yeah,
you're
thank you for
just
being polite.
look.
Goodbye.
I'm just respectfully never request up here again. You're refusing to be reasonable. You're completely obstinate. You're uncooperative. Oh my God, what is wrong with these people? Welcome, neighbor.
What does objectively proven mean?
It means it's true. It's not like so. If
True
I
based
don't
off of facts, right?
if I don't believe in gravity, it doesn't matter whether I believe in gravity because if I jump off a bridge, it's gonna pull me to the ground.
That's a scientific theory that's 99%. So science isn't ever going to be 100%. So
So
objectively proven means to be true based off fact, right?
yeah.
Okay, so now where are the facts to prove that your God is the number one God out of the 2,000 gods there are to this day?
So I can take any fact and show that Jesus is necessary for that fact to be a fact, because facts require things like you have to have what's called identity over time. Anything has to sort of maintain a certain state of affairs and properties for us long enough for us to measure it. So we need identity over time to have facts.
So you take the Bible as complete fact.
We only get identity over time through Jesus as the absolute.
So that didn't answer my question. So you take the entire Bible to be fact, the first and second version of it, not including the other 500 versions.
Yeah, the Bible is the word of God, so it's spoken from the source of truth.
So then it's a fact. It's a fact that he flooded the earth and had Noah build an ark, right?
You're goddamn right it is.
So it's also a fact that he killed a shit ton of children because he just wanted to, right?
You have to say unalived.
I'm sorry, unalived. So it's a fact. He unalived the firstborn of an entire city.
It wasn't just arbitrary though. He had a good reason to.
There was a reason. So that's all fact.
He's rational. God's rational.
So do you have any other spot proof that those are facts other than the Bible?
Well, there's a problem. So I just showed that any meaningful argument presupposes the Bible. So do you want me to demonstrate the same premise?
All you did right there was
stop talking. I'm talking. Little man, I'm talking now. Okay, listen, little man. I just showed that any meaningful argument presupposes the Bible. So do you want me to demonstrate the same premise without the Bible? But that's exactly what I argued is absurd and cannot be done, sir.
So there is no other facts.
Are you going to respond to what I said, little man? Or are you going to run away, little man?
I'm not running away. I mean,
you're going to run away, little man?
Me all you want, because at the
do
end
you
of the
want
day,
me to demonstrate the premise that any meaningful?
Go right ahead.
Excuse me, little man. I'm trying to reason with you.
I said, go ahead,
little man. Yeah.
Why are you so mad?
I'm not mad.
So angry?
I'm trying to have
Sound
a
pretty
conversation.
pissed.
Okay, well, you can have that opinion. I just showed that any meaningful argument presupposes the Bible. So do you want me to demonstrate that same premise without the Bible? But that's exactly what I argued is
But I want you to
absurd
give me the
and cannot
facts
be done.
that are from the Bible.
You're not responding to what I'm saying.
The Bible is not a fact.
Can you respond to what I'm saying?
I said do it, and you still are crying.
Okay, if I indulge you and argue your way, that logic is valid apart from the Bible, I've adopted your basis that I've already proved collapses.
So that destroys my own position. So either way, I can't comply without contradicting myself. Now, do you want to deal with what I said, or do you want to run away from my argument?
I said do it, bro. You still haven't made any fucking sense about it.
By demanding a new defense, you're implicitly saying that God hasn't revealed him. By demanding a new defense, you're implicitly saying God hasn't revealed himself and logic works fine without him. That's just your claim dressed up as a question, but you haven't demonstrated that. You're assuming it.
So are you a deist or a theist Christian?
Goodbye.
Oh my god.
Welcome, neighbor. Are you an adult?
Yes, I am. Why are you crashing out? Okay, this is from someone. Okay, I was originally going to come up to.
What would it mean to crash out in a world without a God?
There is no God.
Crashing out is a unified description of reality. What would actualize that unity that's not God?
Look, I'm not here to talk about God, okay, because it's absolutely pointless. Because you're clearly obsessed. You're clearly obsessed. But anyway, I'm here to talk about abortion from someone who has had an abortion. Or just go on mute, okay?
Oh, well, you can be forgiven by the blood of Christ.
No. Okay.
Literally sacrificing a child.
No, we aren't doing this. Are you disagreeing with
it's
abortion?
It's not your fault.
Are you disagreeing with abortion on all basis?
Yes.
All basis.
Yes.
Okay, so if I describe my situation that I got an abortion in, would you still agree with that?
So if the intention is to save life of the mother, I wouldn't classify that as an abortion. But if the intention is to sacrifice the baby for the whatever reason, I would call that an abortion.
But then
and that's
you're
wrong.
saying then that you believe that a fetus is a human life, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
so
God does.
why are you prioritizing one life over another then?
I'm not prioritizing.
No, if a fetus is alive, why is the fetus less important than the mother's life if they're both humans and they're both lives or whatever?
They're equally important.
Okay, well then why are you saying that the only circumstance would be to save the mother?
Because it's wrong to unalive a human being.
Okay, but then you're saying that the fetus is a person as well.
Yeah, what the hell else would it be?
Okay, well then why is one life more important than the other?
They're equally important.
Okay, well then why are you prioritizing the mother's life over the fetus's life?
How am I doing that?
You're saying that you would save... abortion is okay if it's saving the mother's life.
Yeah, because in that situation, the intention is to save life, not take life.
But you're... Oh, okay, whatever. I had an abortion when I was 8 years old. The baby would have probably been able to have been given birth to or whatever, but it was to my great-grandfather. The baby would have come out mutilated.
Were you born Muslim?
No.
Oh. It sounds like it.
Okay, I was born into a mostly Christian family, and I'm atheist.
Oh, from your story, I would have sworn you were born in an Islamic family.
No, not one of my family. What?
What?
None of my family follows that religion.
Oh, okay. It just sounded like it. Okay.
Okay. So you would expect me to give birth to that baby?
Yeah.
Okay. Even though I was 8 and the father was in their 80s.
Yeah.
Do you know what that baby would have came out like?
Yeah. Sounds like kind of how I turned out.
What? Fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. No, the baby would have came out very mutilated, probably not functioning very well at all.
Hmm. Like an atheist.
Okay, that's fucking crazy, seeing as religion is basically just a fucking form of mental illness. But anyway,
That's not
once
what the
again,
DSM-5 says.
I'm not here to
That's
debate you.
an anti-scientific
I'm not here
position.
to debate you about religion. Get
Well,
that through your head. Stop bringing up your God.
That's what my life is about. It's about Jesus.
Okay, but one of your things is abortion.
Yeah, and that's related to
Okay,
Jesus.
so that is what I'm talking about.
But that's related to Jesus because we're
No,
talking about.
it's not. It's to
Yes,
do
it
with
is.
fucking fetus, you stupid
Yeah, but
bitch.
we're talking about like value. So
No,
where does
no.
value come from? Yeah, we are talking about value. That you're saying like you were arguing that I value the life of the mom or something more than I value the life of the fetus. Remember? So this is
No, because it's crazy.
ethical
No.
issue.
You expect an 8-year-old to give birth to their great grandfather's child. How the fuck do you think that would work out? How do you think that would work out?
Oh, I'm sure it'd be very sad. It sounds really sad.
Really? Yeah, well, it would have been. It would have been really sad.
That's sad.
And how, like, you get that baby would not be healthy at all.
Yep.
Okay, so why would you bring a child into the world where it's just going to suffer?
Because everyone suffers, and
Okay,
I mean it's so
fucking
sad.
fun of this is crazy, bro. This just
It's
shows
so
how thick you are.
It's so sad. My heart
Really
goes out
shit.
to you.
Okay, look at how
I feel-
fucking sad. This is just fucking sad, bro.
I feel your pain. That's terrible. I mean, gosh, bad things happen in the world. Oof. That's sad.
Oh my fucking god. This just shows how fucking ill the host is, bro. Genuinely, get a fucking job. Get a fucking job, bro. You're fucking evil. Joking about that sort of stuff is fucking crazy.
I'm not joking about it.
Yes, you
It's
are.
sad.
No, shut the fuck up, bro. Genuinely.
Think of the children. Won't somebody please think of the
You're
children?
fucking ill.
No, stop. Think of the children.
Think of the children. Won't somebody please think of the children?
That was emotional blackmail. What she was doing. Welcome, neighbor.
Welcome. How are you?
That was emotional blackmail. What she was. There's an echo. Can you fix that? I think he's going to fix it. Lady, I don't really. I mean, didn't you emotionally blackmail me enough? I think that was enough. Welcome, neighbor.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to request.
Oh, no worries.
Jesus love you. See ya.
Wish you well.
Welcome, neighbor. How are you today?
Howdy, neighborino. I'm doing well.
Hey, Mars. I want to ask you something.
Sure.
Is a woman responsible for the fetus inside of her?
Not always. I mean, usually, but there are instances where she wouldn't be, I suppose.
The case of unalivement, would you say that this would fall down to the woman, as in the woman would be full of sin if this fetus was to unalive inside of her?
Well, it'd be on the doctor, it'd be on anyone who helped, anyone who supported it.
Do you believe in inherent sin, Mr. Paymars?
Inherent sin. I don't, that's a good question. I don't know. I have to study more theology. I'm going to read a theology book.
Okay,
Start
so
it.
my point of contention, following this logic, women who miscarriage are full of sin by your worldview.
Everyone's full of sin. We're all sinners.
No. So what does the Bible tell us about sin, Mr. Paymars?
It results in like slavery, basically.
So being of sin is slavery.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's the correlation between the two?
Sin is a type of bondage. Like if you are have an addiction or something, that's a type of bondage, right? Like your whole life, all your decisions revolve around that, like addiction. It could be anything. So that's like what sin's like. It's a type of bondage.
No.
It controls you. It affects how you decide your decisions and everything.
So your proposition, your claim is human entities are born with sin, are full of sin. Now, when I'm asking what is sin, you're now saying it is like bondage because we are controlled by it and addicted to it. This.
Yeah, it's like this power of the world to control you, enslave you, as opposed to like the power of God to guide you in life.
So you're telling me, for example, if I go to church on Sunday, that is a form of like emancipation. It's freedom.
Well, no, because well, yeah.
Well, interesting.
So in
Yes, no.
in Christianity, well, I thought I didn't understand you. So in Christianity, freedom is obeying the.
What now?
In Christianity, freedom is obeying the will of God. So yeah, that'd be a type of emancipation to go to church on Sunday.
Okay, so I guess I wanted to come up and like we can bring this back to point number 4. Child sacrifice. What is your definition of sacrifice?
I don't really have one. I don't really define things. Like I just what like you give up one thing for another thing.
Wait, so you don't really define things, so you don't believe in objective truth?
No, I do, but like I don't. So liars, like a bunch of atheist liars have ruined it for people where like they try to use definitions to lie. Because if you hyper focus on a definition or pigeonhole someone into a definition, that's like a tactic liars use to manipulate and lie. So I'd rather just avoid the whole thing and I don't really want to talk about definitions if possible.
Yeah, sure. So let's follow this logic. So definitions are subjective, but the entailment will be of relevance, correct?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you want me to repeat it for you?
Well, can you talk like a normal person? That is like hard.
Sure.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that for you. Are definitions subjective?
Are definitions subjective? Well, it depends on your paradigm. Like in Christianity, no. In atheism, yes.
Wait, but you just made this assertion that you don't get
the definitions. There's context. Well, Jesus, dude. I don't want to have a semantical discussion. Please, can we not do this?
This isn't semantics at all.
It is. It is semantics.
What is semantics, Paymars?
Definitions and meanings and shit.
Definitions and meanings.
Oh my God, dude. All you're doing is asking for I'm going to kick you. Talk like a person and let's not talk about definitions or semantics, please. Now continue. Or I'm literally... there's no further warning. I'm just going to instantly drop you.
Okay.
You're pissing me off.
Okay. So, point number 4. I believe abortions are permissible because I hold a 12-week cutoff period because pragmatically, when it comes down to the actualization, 94% of elective abortions occur at the end of the first trimester, which would be 13 weeks. So, to argue that abortion is child sacrifice before this, you're just wanting to dabble in philosophy, which you have no grounding of, because you can't objectively prove your substance to back up your claims.
Okay, so when you appeal to pragmatism, you have to have a normative framework, or else that proof doesn't work. So how do you get a normative framework without God?
Well, no, it's not about God. I'm a threshold deontologist.
We need to talk like a normal person. How do you get a normative framework without God? Can you defeat the Izzat gaps?
The Izzat fallacy is not applied here, so that's contention number 1. Number...
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna practice my opening. for the debate tomorrow. Well, dude, you're bullshitting me. When you appeal to pragmatism, that proof only works if you have a normative framework, but you don't have a normative framework because that's Jesus. Jesus is the normative framework. So, and according to Jesus, you can't sacrifice children, so you're done. You're done. I'm a poor reader. Okay. I'm like total crap at everything, but it doesn't matter because Jesus saved me, so who cares? I'm crap, but Jesus is cool. So that's it. What am I doing? Oh yeah, the timer. Okay. All right. So here's my opening. Good evening. I'm P. Mars, and today we're asking, is the Christian God necessary for knowledge? By knowledge, I mean more than just facts or data on Wikipedia. I mean the ability to know things reliably, to understand reality, to reason clearly, and to build on what we learn in science, logic, and everyday life. Ask yourself, where does knowing anything come from? Is it just a trick of our brains? Or does it point to something or someone bigger than ourselves? Imagine you want to know the foundation of a building. You can't figure out what holds it up until you see the blueprint or hear from the architect. In the same way, to know why anything exists at all, we need a builder who's willing to reveal the plan. If existence is just random particles bumping around, how do we ever know that bumping around leads to truth rather than confusion? If no one's behind it all, then knowledge, like logic, reasoning, and meaning, has no real place to stand. It's like trying to play a game without knowing who set the rules. So, why'd the atheist try to ground logic without God? Because he thought a cosmic coin flip could write the laws of reason. Spoiler, it landed on stupid. The only clear way to know the foundation of existence is if a person who made everything actually speaks up. That's exactly what Christianity claims. God, specifically Jesus, has revealed himself in history, in scripture, and ultimately in his own life. If you want to know why reality holds together, you go to the one who designed it. Why Jesus? Because Christianity doesn't say God is a vague force out there. It says God is a fully God and fully human in Jesus, with a revealed, perfect set of attributes. Jesus taught with logical consistency. He argued, he proved points, he appealed to truth. He's rational. He claimed to hold all things together. That means we rely on science or math. We're really relying on an unchanging power behind the universe, the sustainer. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He didn't point to a set of arbitrary rules. He is the standard of right and wrong. He's the moral authority. He revealed God in words, actions, miracles, so we can know him, not just guess. He communicates. No other worldview offers a personal explanation where the one who sets the rules also lives by them and reveals them to us. Some people want explanatory power. They want to say, I can explain everything. Yet they don't want an explanation that points to a single cause. But real explanations work like this. You see a series of facts. Say gravity pulling down, apples falling, planets orbiting. You ask, why does gravity work in such a consistent way? The answer has to unify those facts under one principle, like mass attracts mass. If you stop there and say, no need to explain who designed the principle, you've refused the deeper question. You've got surface explanations without ever asking why there's order at all. The Christian God as revealed in Jesus is the glue connecting all facts and events through his divine counsel. He's the why of why physics makes sense, why chemistry follows patterns, why math works, and why morality holds. To demand explanations without connecting facts and events is like wanting a car to run without an engine. So, to recap in simple terms, only a revealing person, God and Jesus, can show us the true foundation of existence. Rules need a cosmic referee who enforces logic, science, and morality impartially. Only Jesus fits the bill. Jesus' perfect attributes, rational, sustaining, moral, communicative, make knowledge real. Explanations need a connection between facts and events, and that connection is God, not an impersonal cosmic fart. Order demands an orderer, the God who created and upholds the universe. Those McNuggets don't order themselves. Tonight, my opponent might try to say, we can do knowledge without God. Thank you very much. But if they do that, they're trying to have explanations without an explainer, an order without an orderer. It just doesn't make sense. Tonight, let's see which side can truly show how knowledge is possible. Is it possible on its own, or do we need to stand behind Jesus, the perfect example of God revealing himself as the ultimate context of why logic works, why science works, and why right and wrong even matter? Thank you. Okay, I'm like 10 seconds over. I need to change. I want to get the word unity out of it. Get the word unity out of there. The answer has to unify. I'll get the word unify out of there. It needs to say, the answer has to connect those facts under one principle. Unify just means connect. When Darth talks about unity, he's talking about the big picture of the universe that interconnects everything together. Because facts need to be connected and events need to be connected. And Hume talked about, like, if in empiricism everything is disconnected and disjointed.
Hi, I'm a polytheist, and I work with three deities, and I came on here to ask you for some advice, if that's okay.
Okay, but I'm a Christian, so I would tell you that you're going to hell unless you repent and turn to Christ.
Oh, so I think you should probably keep that to yourself because you're pushing your beliefs onto someone else and threatening someone for having different beliefs than you. But
okay, but
I respect you and your religion because you shouldn't tell someone that because that's a emotional manipulation tactic. But
no, it's the truth.
You should do what you want, but you shouldn't just tell someone that they're gonna go to hell.
I don't want you to go to hell. No, you gotta tell people the truth.
But you don't have to tell me that.
I do.
No, you don't, because that's a emotional manipulation tactic.
No, it's not.
Telling
It's
someone
the
they're going to go to hell for being a different religion isn't okay. You should respect that.
It's not manipulative to tell someone the truth.
You're not telling someone the truth if you're just telling them to go to hell.
It isn't true, though. Everyone deserves to go to hell, and we're all going to hell unless we repent and turn to Christ.
Okay, but I just told you that I'm polytheist, and you told me that I'm going to go to hell for that. That's not respectful. You shouldn't do that to someone.
You're lying.
No, that's not respectful. Would you tell someone that they're going to go to hell for being in a different religion?
Yes.
That's not respectful at all. You're being disrespectful. That's not human decency.
You don't know what you're talking about. God is illogical based on what standard? Welcome, neighbor.
What's up, bro? How you doing?
I do be.
God is illogical based on what standard? Welcome, neighbor.
Echo. Oh gosh. Welcome, neighbor.
Oh yeah.
I do be fine.
Can I just ask you? So, Christianity isn't the only religion out there, right? So, what's the difference between believing Christianity and being a Muslim?
Well, Jesus and Allah have different attributes, so that's a big difference.
Yeah, I know, but like, why would you say why is Christianity more likely than is?
I wouldn't say it's more likely. I would say Christianity is necessary and Islam is a joke because like all the Quran can't even get the Trinity right. They say like Mary's part of the Trinity. So what kind of God like makes a big mistake like that? It's pretty whack.
Well, how do you know it's a mistake?
Because Mary's not a part of the Trinity.
How do you know that?
Oh my god.
What?
How do you know why?
Hey, what's up, bro?
Welcome, neighbor.
My fault about the echo last time.
How do you know why? Hey, what's up, bro? It's echoing.
Oh, it's echoing again.
You gotta restart your app, dude. You have to restart your app. Okay, so now I'm gonna try now I gotta time my closer. Did you
All right,
fix it?
cool. Let's see. Last try.
I think it's working.
All right, no echoes, right?
Yeah, it's working now.
Perfect. All right, sorry about that, bro. My fault.
Okay, what would you like to say?
So I just have a question about number 3, which is no. I'm not sure if I can say that word on live.
Yeah, there's no slavery in ancient Israel.
Yeah. Do you think that's true?
Of course, yeah. When we think of slavery, we think of like forced captivity and forced labor. That would have been outlawed by the laws, the Levitical laws, the Deuteronomy laws.
Okay, so
we couldn't do that.
but weren't you allowed to beat them to unalivement as long as it happened a day or two after you actually beat them?
If you take that out of context, there's also a law that if you beat your slave, they get to go free. So why would I beat my slave if then the slave gets to go free?
Are you sure it says that?
I'm dead ass.
Could you show me the verse?
Good God, what is wrong with you? But yeah,
What's wrong
I'm
with
just
me?
making things up. Yeah, why do I have to show you the verse? You think I'm lying to you?
From outside.
No, bro, I don't think you're lying. It's just that, when we have an open discourse like
It's
this,
Exodus
people-
21:26.
Exodus 21:26. Is there any way you can get it on the screen, or do you want me to just go off?
I can read it.
Yeah, read it. No problem.
When a man strikes the eye of his slave, it should be servant actually, but male or female, and destroys it, he shall let the slave go free because of his eye. So if you
So is that
injury-
just if their eye gets injured?
No, it's like a principle, so it wouldn't only apply to the eye. It's like a principle. So if you like beat your slave up, you risk if you injure them, they can go free. So no one's gonna do that.
Okay.
So do you want to admit you're wrong now and that this is a
No. Because
Okay,
I want you
bye.
to know that. One sec. Let me
Bye.
rebut.
No. Sick of this crap. They never admit they're wrong. Let me bicker with you when I'm blatantly fucking don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I want to bicker like a little bitch. Exodus 21:20, what about it? But what does property refer to? It also says that only God can own a human being. It does not say that. Oh my god. You guys just slander. You guys are a bunch of freaking anti-Semites that want to slander Jewish people. You like that guy who did the Molotov thing. Y'all like that guy that set those people on fire. That's what you guys remind me of. Or that other guy that unalived the Israeli couple. You guys remind me of those people. For real, dude. Okay. So, trying my closer now. Okay. Tonight we've asked, is the Christian God necessary for knowledge? We looked at why knowledge isn't just random data or clever brain chemistry. Real knowledge, logic, science, morality, depends on something bigger than ourselves. It needs a solid foundation that isn't shifting under our feet. Let's briefly revisit the points we built in the opening. First, we said that to know anything about the foundation of existence, you need a builder who's willing to speak up. Christianity tells us that God revealed himself in Jesus. He's the one who laid out the blueprint of reality. Why does this matter? Because if you want to know why anything makes sense, why math and logic work, why we can communicate, only an objective revelation can give you that trust. Without someone telling you, this is how things hang together, you're stuck guessing. When my opponent tried to explain knowledge without God, they quietly borrowed the notion of a revealer. Some might argue a society, an evolutionary story, or some cosmic force is the revealer, but none of those actually appear and say, here's why logic is reliable. They've pointed to processes, not persons. But a process never shows you its own purpose. A person can. Second, we pointed out that Jesus has a perfect attribute set that no mere idea or force can offer. His rational mind grounds logic, his will aligns nature, and his holy character defines the true morality. When my opponent argued that anything goes or morality evolves, they undercut the very force behind our everyday sense of right and wrong. They act outraged when injustice happens, but then say, well, that's just social convention. That's like cheering for a referee's call only to turn around and deny the referee's authority. It's inconsistent. So Jesus uniquely fits every part of the picture, revealing, sustaining, judging, and guiding. Third, we insisted that explanation demand connection between facts and events, not a tapestry of randomly woven threads. Science works because we can say everything bends towards mass, or electrons follow electromagnetic forces. But those aren't surface answers. The deeper question is why there is any order at all, let alone one that our minds can grasp. If my opponent says, this is just how reality is, then they haven't answered it. They're just restated the puzzle. That's like seeing a car drive itself and saying, oh, I don't know why it happens, it just does. It's not an explanation, it's a shrug. Only God, specifically the God who revealed himself in Jesus, serves as a connecting force that explains why logic lines up with reality, why math works, and why morality matters. Without an underlying mind to tie these facts together, every explanation is a patchwork that never truly holds. So if you think logic just popped out of nowhere like a cosmic burrito, but you're still arguing like it's bulletproof, you might be an atheist. If you call Schmurder wrong but say morality is just vibes, like picking a flavor at the ice cream shop, you might be an atheist. If you think a random cosmos cooked up science's rulebook, but you're betting on it like it's God's divine counsel, you might be an atheist. If you scoff at Jesus flipping history with love, but your worldview is flipping coins for answers, you might be an atheist. If you roll your eyes at meeting loved ones again in heaven, but your godless void's serving up nada for hope, you might be an atheist. In contrast, the Christian God offers a living foundation. He's a revealer who shows the blueprint of reality. He's a referee who enforces logic, science, and morality consistently. He's a perfect being, Jesus, who embodies rationality, sustains the universe, morally judges, and personally communicates.
He's the unifier of all explanation, tying facts and events into a coherent whole. He's the orderer who keeps the cosmos in harmony so that knowledge is genuinely possible. Tonight you've seen that without God, knowledge is just an empty word. If logic can dissolve into opinion, if science can collapse into wishful thinking, if moral outrage can evaporate into meaningless preference, then nothing holds together. That's a world of confusion, not a world of truth. Therefore, if you want real knowledge, truth you can trust, logic you must follow, and morality you can stand on, you need the Christian God. He's not a side option. He's the necessary foundation. Reject him, and you've rejected the very grounds for saying anything is true or false. Thank you. Prove that God is a man. You can't rationally deny the identity claims of Jesus, so it's impossible due to the impossibility of the contrary.
Hello.
Welcome, neighbor.
Thank you. I don't think we're neighbors. I think I live across the pond from you, but okay.
Well, we're connected in a TikTok community of debate.
Okay, great. Hello, neighbor.
What would you like to say?
How can you prove that Christianity is factual?
Well, because I can take any fact and show that Jesus is necessary for that fact. So if Jesus is necessary for facts, and we have facts...
Can you give me an example of one?
Well, like boiling water or boiling noodles, you need like uniformity in nature so like water consistently boils at a certain temperature.
What's Jesus got to do with that?
That's like a pattern, right? So he would impose and secure the pattern. Like he's the source of the pattern in nature. He causes it.
How so?
How so? Like through
Yeah,
his
how does he do that?
through his like divine counsel and will. He wills nature. His will aligns nature to have patterns and order.
And how do you know it's Jesus doing this? Do you have any proof of that?
Yeah, because only Jesus has the attributes that's been revealed in history and creation to make something like, like gravity real or any pattern.
Okay, I'm of course going with the idea that you believe Jesus is God, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what doesn't make any sense to me is how you're claiming that Jesus is God when nowhere in the Bible does it state that he says he's God. And even, for example, when he was on the cross, he was crying out to God. Why would he cry out to himself? Can't he just do it himself? Can't he just stop things himself if he's that powerful? Can't he,
Yeah.
Why would he cry out to God?
Well, that shows a fundamental misunderstanding of Scripture, because in that passage he's quoting a psalm. So he's not like...
I don't think you can tell me there's a misunderstanding of Scripture when there's like
Are
loads
you not
of different
listening to what I'm
verses in the
saying?
Bibles.
When Jesus called out to himself, as you put it, he was quoting a psalm. Okay? So does that make sense to you now, or do you not understand?
What? Okay, so he's quoting it. So he was
quoting
just singing about
Scripture.
himself.
He was quoting Scripture on the cross. He was quoting a psalm.
Where does it
So-
say that?
Where do they grow these people?
I don't know. Your God made him, so don't be so rude. This is your
How
God's
am I being
creation.
rude?
It's your God's creation. No need to be so judgmental. That's also a sin. I'd be careful if I was you.
Okay, I'm sick of you.
I know, because that makes sense.
Do you have any evidence for atheism?
Did I say I was atheist?
What are you?
Okay, what do you mean evidence for atheism?
What
There's
are you?
literally atheist. I'm a human
What are
being.
you?
I'm
Are
a human
you-
being.
What is your position on God? Are you a believer? Do you reject God, or do you claim to neutrality?
I'm open-minded, but I'm not agnostic. I have my own set of beliefs that are not really following a certain religion. I do believe in some sort of higher power, but it doesn't in any way relate.
So your
to the
belief is
same kind of-
irrational, right? Sounds irrational.
How is it irrational?
What's the rationale for your position?
all I can believe is what makes most sense to me and what can be proven to me.
That
So
doesn't
I'm
sound
not.
rational. I'm not hearing a rash. What inference rule is that?
Sorry?
I want like a reason, like an argument. Do you have an argument for your position to be true?
You don't even know my position. So how
Yeah,
can
I'm
you say
asking you. Do you have an argument for your position?
I don't have to? I don't have an argument for my position because at the end of
Okay,
the
exactly.
day,
So you're
because
just irrational.
no.
See how she wants to criticize me, but then she immediately falls apart. I'm disrespectful. How am I being disrespectful? The saddest debater? Well, I guess I'm gonna end the live. Gonna make some food. Do I have a job? No, I'm disabled.